my girlfriend has just broken up with me. I flew to Australia to decide whether we were going to get married, and instead we broke up. So I didn't really have a plan. And I'm on Kangaroo Island. It's a wildlife preserve for kangaroos and other animals. And I'm like, okay, well, no girlfriend, but you know, this is be exciting. And I'm at the picnic area, and the picnic tables are surrounded by this large metal fence. And I'm like, what's that about? And I get out of the car, and she drives away, and the kangaroos are there. I'm like, sign me up, kangaroos! And kangaroos, it turns out, are like 4-foot-tall squirrels. And if they want something, they'll get it from you. And you aren't going to stop them, they're giant squirrels. And the fences are to keep the squirrels away from you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is dangerous. And so the sun's going down, and I'm like, I guess I'll sleep in the picnic area because kangaroos. What else? So I'm asleep on the table. I don't really have a tent or anything. I'm just sleeping on the table. And the sun goes down, and something about that big scurries underneath the picnic table. And I'm like, what was that? And it scurries and it climbs up into the trash can, and it's in the trash can here. And then another one scurries across, and it also goes into the trash can. And the two of those start fighting ferociously. So I fumble my sleeping bag, I pull up my headlamp, and it's possums. And the good thing about possums in Australia is they're very cute. They have big eyes, and they're long, luxurious fur. They're not like our possums. But there must have been like 30 or 40 of them. So all night long, it was like scurrying black animals all underneath me. They didn't bother me, but I said, okay, that's enough of that. I talked to the ranger, and he said, oh, there's a little trail down to the beach. It's only about an hour. It's really easy hike, and you can sleep on the beach. And I'm like, great, on the beach. So I get a hitchhiker ride to the parking lot, and the parking lot, right next to the parking lot is a trail, obviously a trail. And I'm good, that's pretty easy. Okay, hour to the beach. Start walking down the trail, and the trail it's really poorly maintained. And I'm like a few days into Australia. I have no idea what a trail looks like in Australia. And this one's getting smaller and smaller, and everything in Australia either stings you or bites you and kills you. They all kill you. So I'm avoiding the branches, and finally I'm crawling through the underbrush, and I'm like, wow, they really don't maintain the trails. At the hour point, I am thick in the jungle, pushing my way through and going, this doesn't seem right. But I've just marched an hour in the wrong direction. It's in the right direction. It's an island. Everything goes to the ocean. And it's a little stream there, so it's clearly going to make it to the ocean. But I'm wrong. Well, I've already marched an hour. I must be like 15 minutes away. So I continue forward, and I'm plowing through the jungle, and sometimes I have to walk in the stream. And at the 2-hour point, I look up and go, no, this is not the right trail. And I'm not walking 2 hours back to just end up in the parking lot with the kangaroos. I must be 15 minutes away. So I continue forward, and for the next hour, plow through the jungle, climb trees, and look for the break in the jungle. And at the 3-hour mark, now I'm committed. There's no way I'm walking back. It'll be 3 hours through the jungle to get back to a parking lot. I must be like 10 minutes away from the beach. So I push forward, and it just gets more and more difficult. Each step is just like, no, look, in the future I see, there's shrubbery. Oh, good. Like, there's little plants like shrubs you have in the front yard. And I get to the shrubbery, it's about 3 feet high, but it's completely interlocked. You can't push your way through it. So you basically step into the shrubbery and lift your foot out and step. Finally, at like the 5-hour mark, the sun's going down. I can hear the ocean. I can't see it. I climb down the boulders, and I get to the beach, and the beach is about 2 feet wide. It's like, I can't stay here. The ocean will, and there's rocks and cliffs. I'm like, oh, I have to keep going. It must be that direction. So I climb up the cliff, and I get up to the top of the cliff, and I look over the edge, and as far as I can see, it's shrubbery. Everywhere, shrubbery. Like, it's gonna take me weeks to cross this shrubbery. And the sun's going down, and I'm like, there's no bare ground. There's no bare ground. And I'm plowing through the shrubbery, and it's just brutal. And then I'm climbing over the shrubbery, and finally I'm like, the sun's going down, it's all gonna end, and I find a rock that's sticking, no shrubbery can grow there, and I slide my feet under the shrubs, and I lay on the rock, and that's about the point where I hear the wild goats.